what's going on, MLB the Show fans? Big old Buck, and I know, yes, it's been a hot minute since we've had any MLB the Show content on the YouTube here, but that will change shortly. We will be bringing back Stub Sunday with the release of MLB the Show 24, and we'll also be doing a Wednesday, not a stream, a Wednesday episode. I'm not sure what we're going to call it yet, but it'll be updates on content, investments, midweek kind of thing. Like I said, I'm not sure what we're going to call it yet, but it'll be 2 uploads a week for MLB The Show 24. And what I want to go over today is the things I enjoyed about MLB The Show 23, the things I didn't enjoy about MLB The Show 23, and some things I would like to see introduced in MLB The Show 24, including a couple of legends. I guess you could call them legends. They're sort of mid-tier legends, but I'm going to cover that with the things I'd like to see as well. So without further ado, let's get into some MLB The Show. All right, first up, we aren't going to be negative, right? I'm going to let you know things I was not a fan of, but I'm also at the same time, we're going to talk about the good stuff first. Actually, you know what? Let's talk about the bad stuff first, because it's not a lot. Gameplay-wise, I think base running needs a little bit of tuning. There's times when you hit advance all, it just doesn't work. It does its own thing. Could just be bugged. I don't know, but it doesn't just happen to me. It happens to lots of people. I noticed a lot of people complaining about it. I don't know. I don't know how to fix it unless they can, I know there's a separate way to make runners advance, but it seems to get discombobulated too at times. So base running probably needs a little bit of a tweak. Outfield arms, I feel like, I don't know if it's because we started off with 99s right off the shoot, and we had them all year. But man, you could not run anywhere on an outfield arm, no matter who you were. If they got a perfect meter throw, forget about it. And a lot of times it was guys with speed that should score on like fly balls to the outfield. A guy on third with like 80 speed, and he's getting pegged at home on a perfect throw from, mid to 2/3 outfield. That never happens in real life. That shouldn't happen. And guys getting thrown out going first to third from balls in the right field corner. Guys throwing from the right field corner to the third base on a line. To me, that's something that needs to be tweaked as well. And as far as gameplay, that's really it. There were still a few animation issues, but not much really. I think the biggest thing is the pitcher wall. The pitcher wall was pretty actively back this year at times, especially. But outside of that, I really don't have any problems with the gameplay. The hitting was great. I thought the hitting felt rewarding. I didn't see my Twitter filled with people showing their PCIs and stuff all year. Now, the bad with content. Well, first off, we all know they don't touch franchise at Road to the Show. I wish they would, and I wish they would separate Road to the Show completely from Diamond Dynasty. I don't think they should tie in together at all. I don't like the My Player in Diamond Dynasty at all. We have so many cards to use, there's no reason to have it, but that's just my opinion. As far as content goes, I am a fan of the slow crawl and stat grinds and things like that. I did not like the 99s off the rip. I thought it could be fun. And then, like I said, the game did play well, but I just feel like the slow crawl, the only 99s I want to see at launch are the ones that come from the collections, the live series collections, because otherwise live series means nothing. Your silvers, your golds, your flashbacks, they don't mean anything. There's nowhere to use them. Unless they put them in like mini seasons. Oh, you can only use golds here and stuff like that. And that ties into, well, we'll get to the events in a minute, but I would prefer going back to the slow crawl. And I feel like it's okay to have like 5 Babe Ruths, but, give us a silver one that's usable for a little while and a gold, and then, a lower tier diamond, and then, a mid tier diamond, and then that big boy. You know what I mean? Or go back to like 17 when you had to grind stats to, improve the cards and, you go from rookie to whatever it built up to, you know what I mean? That was cool too. You could make it offline, and then online could have a times bonus. Say like you get regular, like we could call it PXP, grinding against the computer. And then you get like a certain times more if you get those stats online, you know what I mean? I don't know. I just feel like the slow crawl was way better. I was not a fan of the sets. at all. I just felt like there was too many of the same players and not enough of some of the other players. Bob Gibson, literally, I've seen 2 cards for Bob Gibson all year. His set 1, people are still using. That was the only card he got. But meanwhile, we have like 27 Kyle Schwarbers and all this other thing. I love the Negro League stuff. Thought it was amazing. I'm looking forward to, hopefully we get Josh Gibson this year and learning more of the legends' names. I'm looking forward to that. But to me, instead of going out and getting like a Honus Wagner or a Cy Young or Ty Cobb or any of those guys from that era, why not take that and get us a bunch of the 80s and 90s mid-tier legends like Dwight Gooden, Darryl Strawberry, Willie McGee won an MVP, guys like that, Chris Sable. I mean, there's a list of guys a mile long. Lou Whitaker, who should be in the Hall of Fame for crying out loud. Tiger's second baseman. There's so many names they could get that aren't necessarily, they're not Hall of Famers, all of them, but they were great players when a lot of us were growing up. 70s, 80s, 90s, legends like Paul O'Neill, Bernie Williams, just, going about the Yankees, or Matsui. Gosh, there's so many they could get. Chan-Ho Park. Like, I don't know. There's just so many great players from that era they could get. And maybe, we got the Negro Leagues going down. Maybe not focus on so many older players from back, then, unless you're doing like a program specific like this. I know I've been carrying on and on about content, but that's just what I'm saying, man. There's just so many better players they could have. And this ties into another thing I like to talk about is the events. The events are terrible. It used to be the event rewards were usable for a little while, and now they're just terrible. The event rewards are never hardly usable, and the events are the same thing over and over and over again. It's a moonshot event, and it's always really good cards. We used to have Silver Slugger events. That's where the silver cards come into play. I miss those. The gold events, you can only use gold cards, or live series, anything under a diamond. I mean, the home run derbies are cool. You know what I mean? The long shots are cool, but not all year round, all year long. You know what I mean? The Silver Sluggers a couple times a year was dope. The gold's dope. Only live series, dope. Yeah, it kind of forces people to, have a certain amount of cards. But if you start off at the beginning of the year with Silver Slugger events, gold events, live series only events, stuff like that, and then you start working in other kinds of stuff, and make the rewards usable, I think that would be awesome. I think a lot more people would play the events. The BR program is awesome. The only thing I don't like about that is making the reward unsellable. I get that the players that are better, they should be rewarded. And you know what? What you can do is, if you go 12-0, give them an unsellable P5 version of a card out of the pack. Just make it unlock a fully decked out version of the card, or give them a big bonus of stubs or something like that. I just don't think you should not let them, you can't sell them. People play the program should be able to sell the cards. Same thing with ranked seasons. Do that with ranked seasons. Give them a ginormous P5 of whatever reward they pick. You know what I mean? Or just give them a big bonus bunch of stubs to spend or whatever. You know what I mean? There's other ways to do it. And I think we need, if we're going to talk about giving something more to the competitive, I think we need a weekend league, like something separate from ranked or events or BR. Only Friday at like, say, 4:00 Central Time or whatever time you want to start it, and it ends at Sunday evening or Monday morning. And there's a leaderboard for wins. You know what I mean? You could do it event style, 3 innings. The person who has the most, give rewards to like the top 10 people with wins, or top 20 or top 25, however you want to do it. And those are just specific rewards that those people earn. So you'd have to grind out wins. So that gives the people who want to work, on something to have something else to do besides the ranked and BR and stuff. Make sure that we put ranked season on 1 speed, 1 difficulty pitching, whether it's Hall of Fame, whether it's Legend. Make the pitch speed universal. It's got to be Hall of Fame or Legend. It's got to be decently speeded, though. Otherwise, it's not really competition. And make the PCI size changed based on where you're at. You know what I mean? If you want to go veteran, PCI is larger, but pitch speeds remain the same. Universal pitch speed. I think that needs to be something else in ranked seasons. and if you do a weekend league or something like that. So that way people can get used to pitch speeds. All right, something else I would want to talk about is I like the ideas of captains this year, but I just think there was too many and too many weird things. There's something else we could do with this game that would add stat increases based on the players you use. Managers. You could have different versions of Tony La Russa, Sparky Anderson, even today's the managers that are managing the game today. There's so many legends that you could put in for managers and give those managers specific boost based on the teams that you're using. Like you could just do a Reds Sparky Anderson and Reds players get certain boost or whatever, you know what I mean? But you have to use a specific amount. I think that could really add something to the game. The captains was a good idea, but let's build on that. And instead of doing the captains, let's do managers and bring some of those legendary managers, if possible, into the game. And I just think it would add an extra, an extra thing to an extra level to the game. Something else, Conquest. The US map has gotten stale. Every year it's the same thing. Now this year they are doing there's like a rookie series or something coming out before the season starts where the number one prospect from each team is going to be participating or something like that. I don't remember the exact details of it, but by my buddy MLB the Show Card Art, who does a lot of the artwork for the channel and a lot of other people in the MLB community and 2K community and stuff like that. He tweets a lot of stuff on Twitter. Make sure to go give him a follow, MLB the Show Card Art. Had a great idea. Why not take that player from each one of those teams, and when you conquer, say, the Cardinals, you'll get their player. When you conquer the Cubs, you get their player. Just make it a high gold, you know what I mean? And there's a bunch of good cards to start the season off. If we're going to do slow crawl, make them a high gold, and that way they're all usable. It just by taking over the territory rather than doing, the same thing over and over. You conquer the map, you get 20 packs or whatever. This gives cards right off the chute that everybody can use, especially, like I said, if we're going the slow crawl method. I think that is a great idea, and I tip my hat to MLB The Show Card Art for coming up with that idea. All right, the first of 3 legends that I'd really like to see introduced in the game, and I know I harp on this all the time, my dude, Andy Van Slyke, Cardinal legend, Pirate legend. This guy was a great outfielder. Very solid defender, very underrated, and he had a decent bat, especially for the 80s and early 90s. Just a solid overall player, one of my favorites. He was I don't know if he's still coaching for the Mariners or not, but man, Andy Van Slyke is just one of those players that played the game the right way. I think he did dip into steroids a little bit. If you look at some of his baseball cards over time, he did get a little ripped, but he just works out a lot too, so that could just be it. But he did play with Bonds, so you never know. But I don't care. Either way, Andy Van Slyke, would love to see him in the game. All right, next up, Kevin Seitzer, hitting coach for the Braves now. He should have been Rookie of the Year in 1987, but this guy named Mark McGwire hit 49 home runs and kind of made Kevin an afterthought. Kevin grew up in the city I live in. Great dude. Absolutely awesome dude. I was a few years behind him in school. Now he's a hitting coach of the Braves, and if you see how well the Braves do, this dude knows about hitting. He had a great rookie season. He played with Bo Jackson, who I'd also like to see in the game. I guess that's a bonus name, Bo Jackson. We were talking about this today. I would love to see a program with Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders, and Michael Jordan. 2 sport athletes. That would be a dope program, but let's not get off track. Kevin Seitzer, there's so many good cards you can put in him. He was a multiple-time All-Star. He's coached for the Blue Jays. He's now coaching for the Braves. Like I said, hitting coach. He should have been Rookie of the Year, but McGwire got him because of the home runs. But just a really, really solid player that I would love to see in the game. Last but not least should be Hall of Famer Lou Whitaker, one of the greatest second basemen in baseball history. One of the most underrated second basemen in baseball history. This dude was amazing. I'll argue that he was every bit as good as Alan Trammell. He was so overlooked. I don't know why. I would hope skin color had nothing to do with it, but he was severely overlooked. If you go compare his stats to Hall of Fame second baseman, he's better than some that are in there, and he should be in the Hall of Fame. But I don't want to get on a rant about it. Lou Whitaker would be a nice left-handed hitting second baseman to have. I would love to Love to be able to use him in the game. I've created him before in MLB the Show, used him as my created player because he was one of my favorite players growing up. I was a big fan of those Tigers teams, and him and Alan Trammell up the middle, a lot of fun. We'll love to be able to recreate some stuff like that in Diamond Dynasty. Wizard of Oz, love me some Ozzie Smith. Yeah, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have anything you'd like to add to my list of criticisms or, your feedback of this year's game and what you would like to see in next year's game, including any players that you might be interested in seeing in MLB The Show 24, please leave them in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, punch that thumbs up button. And if you're not subscribed, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Yes, I know that I upload a Marvel Snap pretty much every day here, but when 24 rolls back around, Stub Sunday's coming back, and then we're going to have a Wednesday upload as well. I'm just not sure what I'm going to call it yet, but it's going to be another thing, wrapped around content and all that stuff. I'm going to try to help as much as possible. Hopefully the market is a little better this year. I would love if they would go back to the original way the market was, but it's still very, very workable, very much fun. The best market in any of these games, and this is the best sports game on the market, period. It blows away 2K, Madden, NHL, all of them, FIFA, it doesn't matter. MLB The Show, still the GOAT. As much as it frustrated me this year with some of the things they did, I still love this game. I'm still playing it now in December, almost January. And so you can come by Twitch and catch me there. I've been playing some of it there. Twitch.tv/BigOldBuck. All of my stuff is in the description below. All of my contacts, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, all that stuff's down in the description of the video below. And until next time, you can catch me right here. Same Buck time, same Buck channel.